Welcome to Lesson 2, Fiction Techniques and Devices. In our last lesson, we sharpened our understanding of the basic elements of fiction: character, dialogue, conflict, theme, and more. Now it's time to dive deeper into the imaginative world of storytelling. This lesson will focus on the techniques and devices that fiction writers use to bring their stories to life. While it's important to understand the structure of a story, the real magic comes from how that structure is presented, and that's where fiction techniques and literary devices come into play. Good writers often start small. A simple idea, a character sketch, a setting. They might not yet know where the story is going, and that's okay. Maybe they imagine a moody scene in a rainy alley, or a quirky dialogue between two strangers in a coffee shop. Or maybe they invent a character's habit of always carrying a silver coin. These fragments are the seeds of a story. Once the writer has a clearer picture of the story's shape, they begin building the plot, deciding what happens, when, and why. But to make their story stand out, to make it resonate with a specific audience, they must also consider how they tell it. This how involves tone, mood, voice, symbolism, and a range of techniques and devices. So let's break them down. Let's start with the basics. First up, mood and tone. Mood is the emotional atmosphere of the story, the feeling it gives the reader. Think of it as the background music of your narrative. Tone, on the other hand, is the author's attitude toward the subject. It might be serious, sarcastic, hopeful, or detached. Let's look at an excerpt from Fyodor Dostoevsky's The Heavenly Christmas Tree. Mercy on us, what a town. He had never seen anything like it before, and oh dear, how he longed for some morsel to eat, and how wretched he suddenly felt. At first, the tone feels observational, even curious, perhaps the voice of an adult. But by the end of the passage, we realize it's a child narrating. The mood shifts from wonder to hunger and sadness. That shift helps build emotional depth. Now let's talk about voice. In fiction, there are two main kinds. The author's voice. This is the writer's unique style and tone. You'll notice it in how they use language, structure sentences, and choose details. The character's voice. This is how the character communicates with us, through thoughts, speech, and actions. Whether the narrator is speaking in first person or we're seeing the world through their perspective in third person, that voice is what gives the story life. Think of Holden Caulfield from The Catcher in the Rye. His voice is so distinct you almost feel like he's talking directly to you. That's the power of voice. Now let's explore plot devices, the clever tools writers use to advance the story, deepen meaning, and keep readers engaged. First, foreshadowing. This is when an author plants hints early in the story about what might happen later. These clues can be subtle or obvious, and they build anticipation. For example, in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Ron's skill at wizard's chess seems like a quirky character trait, but later it's crucial in helping the trio reach the Sorcerer's Stone. That early chess game? A brilliant piece of foreshadowing. Next, symbolism. Writers often give deeper meaning to ordinary objects, making them stand for something larger. In Lord of the Flies, the conch shell symbolizes order and speech. When the boys abandon the conch, it signals the collapse of their society. The object doesn't just exist, it means something. A motif is a recurring element, an image, phrase, or situation that helps reinforce the story's themes. In The Great Gatsby, the green light represents Gatsby's longing for Daisy, and more broadly, the American dream. The light is mentioned again and again, subtly reminding readers of Gatsby's unreachable desire. A plot device from ancient Greek theater, Deus ex machina, or God from the machine. Back then, a god would literally descend onto the stage to solve the character's problems. Today, it refers to any sudden, unrealistic solution that resolves a story too conveniently. Used sparingly, it can work. Overused, it weakens the story's logic. The ticking time bomb creates urgency. A deadline is set. If it isn't met, the consequences are serious. In Cinderella, the magic runs out at midnight, creating a deadline that heightens tension. In thrillers or action films, this often becomes literal. A bomb, a disease, a countdown. It keeps readers on the edge of their seats. Flashback takes us into the past to explain something about the present. Flash forward jumps into the future to preview what's coming. In Breaking Dawn, the final battle scene in the movie is actually a flash forward, a vision of what could happen. It adds drama without changing the plot's actual outcome. Used wisely, both devices deepen the narrative. Used too often, they risk confusing the reader. Last but not least, in medias res, Latin for in the middle of things. Instead of starting at the beginning, the story jumps right into the action. In Fight Club, the narrator begins with a gun in his mouth. Who is he? Why is he there? That suspense hooks us. The backstory unfolds as the action continues. This device pulls readers in fast and keeps them turning the pages.